Hello, welcome back. Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and now we've got part 7 of the Hachette Lancaster Bomber B.III, Builder Dan Buster Bomber, and this is the revisited series where we're doing the modifications as we see fit. So, if you remember what we're going to do now, we're going to finish off pack 6, and then we're going to do pack 7 in this one. So if you remember at the end of part 6, I glossed the instrument panel dials. So what I've done now, I've gone in, painted that black, painted around the compass grey. Okay, that's how it should look. And then I've added the airscale decals there. These are actually US Air Force decals, and they're not actually right. I just use whatever fits size-wise, so they're not specifically accurate, but it does look a lot better. We agree to have a gauge up here and on the compass rather than just a blank black circle. And then what I've done is gone over with a touch of gloss again to make them look glazed, and it's had a very, very light dry brushing with our dry brushing brush, as you can see, just basically very, very lightly, and that will just pick up all of the edges, all of the detail, and just make it look a bit more interesting when you look at it through the glazing. So there we are. Now those dials are a bit deep. If you really want to go to town, you could thin the plastic out from the back and bring the dials closer to the front face, but I wasn't going to bother with that because, you know, if we're after ultimate accuracy, this is not the model for you. If you want ultimate accuracy, get the border model, but this is very, very nice indeed. But you know, things like the size of the seat is a little bit off, but it, you know, for it what it is what it is. You know, it's a part work, and you know, we've got this heavy panel lining, we've got pretty heavy rivet detail as well, which is all recessed and it should be exposed. So if you're going down the mega accuracy route, then this is not the model for you. The only one in town for mega accuracy is the border model. So get your money out and go and get that one. So I also, if you remember, I masked off and I've painted this in the matching colour so that when it goes on the cockpit console, then it will be the right colour. So when we look in the instructions, I've also, if you remember, I painted the turtle deck. I'm not going to fit the DF loop. It's in this bag along with those two pipes for fear that it will just get broken off. So we'll put that in there. And we fitted the control column. I've done that off camera because it was just a case of gluing that in. As you know, I painted the bottom brown and I went over with some brown stain just to sort of highlight it a little bit. But as you can see, all looking hunky-dory. So, going on to the next part, we fitted the compass already and repainted it and everything. Now we've got to do these levers. Now I remember from doing these in the when I built it out of the box. I've also got another playlist you can go and look at where it's all built out of the box. This one is called Revisited, that one isn't. So what we're going to do, we're going to start from the left and work right. So I'm going to start with this red one, which is 06I. And I remember from doing this once before, the best way to get these off is just to get a pair of tweezers and literally snap them off. Okay, that is the best way to get them off because they're stainless steel, they're quite thick, and I'm just going to check this one's going to fit. So it's going to go with that little nubbin facing up, and that's going to go into that hole in the instrument panel. Now this one has actually got a very thick coat of paint on it, so what I'm going to do is just come along with my knife and just remove, whoops, where did that go? Blimey, that's lucky. I can see it straight away. That was lucky. Right, so what I'll do this time is hold it in my fingers, and what I'm going to do is remove the paint. Oh dear, dear, dear. Let's try it this way. Should have done this before I took it off the fret. So if you haven't done yours yet, do it before you take it off the fret. I just want to get the paint off just on the very bottom so it fits in the instrument panel a bit easier. This is why we do test fitting, guys, why you dry fit everything. When you see me not dry fit something, I'm a bad boy. Okay, so that's going to go in there like that. It's not going in very easily. There we go. Give it a good old push and it goes in. Right, so got to try and get it out now. without scratching all the paint off. So what I'm going to do is just dip this in a drop of my favourite super glue, the VMS Black Thin. Okay, and I'm just going to push that into that hole, just like so. And that's that. And if you're having it at the top, it should be angled up slightly. I don't know how they've got it in here. Yes, they've got them sort of straight. If it's at the top, it should be angled up slightly, because obviously it goes, you know, in an arc. So just give that a push, get it in there nicely. There we go. Right, and then we can do the same with the others. You can see that on one side we have a sort of little recess in there. If you push it from that side, it will break off a lot easier. So get the tweezers right at the bottom, just snap it off and then pick it up again, and we want to put it in this little, you can see it's got like a little latch on it. We're going to put it in with that latch facing up. I'm just going to test fit that. Yeah, that's going in there lovely. So I'm going to put a drop of glue on and then push it into that hole, and it falls back out again. I don't really know why I'm using these tweezers, because they're not the best for this sort of thing. Come on. There we go. So that one's gone in. I'm going to try and get them all level, sort of ish. They don't need to be perfect, because they probably wouldn't be in real life. But I'm going to go on and do the others off camera, and then I'll come back when I'm going to do the bigger ones. Okay, so there's that one done. Okay, so you can see they're all in, looking very, very nice indeed. Beautiful. Now we've got to do the larger ones. So it's asking us to do these big ones. So this is 06G times 4. So these are the big ones here. So once again, we'll push them through and then bring the tweezers right down to the base and snap them off. Now then, on here there's a bit of a nub left on there, so I am going to grab a file, and of course the first file I pick up is round and the second one I pick up is round. Sod's law. I'm just going to remove that little nubbin from the bottom. I want to make sure they're all level. Okay, and the way these go in, they go in with the radius. You can see there's a radius on there that goes to the back. So that is literally going to fit in there. I'm going to start from this side. So that's literally going to fit in that gap. Okay, so you can see that there. That's going to go straight into that gap there. So we're going to put a drop of super glue on the bottom. I'm going to put it in the slot and then get a cotton bud and remove the excess glue. I get a new cotton bud and remove the excess glue. There we go. Okay, so that one's gone in. So I'll do the same for the other 3, and we'll go from there. Right, see you in a minute. Okay, so there we go. That's that all done. So that's looking good. So we've now completed that section down there. So go over the page, and it's telling us to fit the block to the instrument panel and then fit this piece in the back, which I've already done if you remember, and I've also sanded it so that it's nice and smooth and painted lovely. So this is now going to go onto this instrument panel like that. I'm going to push it in and we're going to make sure it's nice and square, and then we're going to put some glue. In fact, it's quite a loose fit. I'll put some glue in the holes here and then just push it on. There we go. There we go. Get that one over to there, just like that. Just work it around a little bit and let the glue work into those holes. And there you go, you can see now we have our completed assembly there. And the next time I've got some dark grey paint mixed up on a brush, I'm going to put there's a couple of little trim knobs there. I'm going to paint those in dark grey just to make them stand out a bit. And then this, we're now going to put the redder pedals on the back. So this one here with the long, bar is going to go there, like that. Okay, and it's quite a loose fit, so we'll put I'm going to need more super glue, I think, which is a shame because it means that it breaks up the continuity of the video. I'm sorry. Is you can put a great big puddle out and then it's all wasted because it dries out. I'd rather just have to keep replacing or replenishing the drop. So I'm going to hold the instrument panel rather than the centre block. And I'm just going to put some glue in there, and I'm going to put some glue in there. And then that is going to go on there like that. That's that one in. And then this one is going to go in there. Like that, and that fits in there fine. So what we'll do is we'll put some glue in those holes as well. Notice I'm putting glue in the holes only because they're blind. If they were through holes, I would probably put some on the pin as well, or I would glue it afterwards. So they're a fairly sloppy fit, these, so we need to make sure they're glued and glued well, because we don't want them falling out, because they'll be extremely difficult to get back on once the model's built up. Okay, so there we go, that's them in, all fitted, get them level. So there you can see our instrument panel looking all lovely. Now what I want to do is get this onto the model quickly, because I think what I'm going to do is put a drop of, I know it fits, I've test fitted it already. I'm just going to put a drop of glue in there on the sides, and a drop in there, nothing too much. And then that can go in tweezers and just give it a little push. There we go, I told you it fits. There we go, and have a look down and make sure the instrument panel is nice and square to the, I'm not worried about those rods, I've got to make sure the instrument panel is square, perpendicular to the side, otherwise it won't fit correctly in the fuselage. So I'm just going to mop that up there. And then I am going to put a nice big drop of super glue on the back of there to hold that in. Just like that. And there we go. And that is step 7 finished. Okay, so you can see the difference now with all the different bits and pieces and everything. And there we go. All done. So there you are, that's how the little cockpit area looks. And I think it's absolutely bloody gorgeous for a part work. This thing is lovely. It really is. Very nice indeed. Just going to mop that up there. There's a bit of glue oozing out. You can see now why I painted that corner, because that is a pedestal that comes up from the floor, and the actual, this piece here is actually cut around it. So that is pack 6 complete. Okay, moving on to pack 7. In here we have our starboard inner fuselage. We have the ducting, goes down to the front. We have the railing, going to go in with the little oxygen canister on there. We've got the engineer's seat, we've got the engineer's panel, we've got the engineer's backrest. We've got this, what are they calling it here? recuperator. I think it's like a manual pump. 07H is an oxygen economizer, 07I is the back of the seat, and then 07J is a slow running cutout panel, and 07K is a little lamp that's going to go onto there. So let's have a look what we've got in here. So they're telling us first of all, now what I've done, I've gone on and painted these in my interior green colour. So they are no longer in the same colour as the, you can see this one has been primed and painted as well, so that's already done. The actual flight engineer seat, I've already done this bit here where we glue the bracket on, glued that on already, painted it in the colour, and then I've gone around the edge because that shows the edge of the cushion, and when it goes up the side of the panel here you won't see the back, you only see the front. Here we've got the oxygen economizer, which is here 07H, and that was all green, so I've painted it in the interior green colour and then painted the oxygen economizer in black, so that's correct. And then we've got this little shelf here, which clearly isn't from this part. 07H oxygen economizer, it's obviously from another part, but I've managed to pick it up and do it in this one, so I don't know what's happened there. Right, so first things first, we've got to fit, we've got bags here for part 7. Oh, okay, I've got bags in there for part 8 as well. So here are the parts for part 7. So first things first is fight with the bag to get it open. Get these parts out on the table. Put the bag away. Okay, so first thing is fitting this recuperator. Now you can see the big handle on the top. I believe this should be silver, so I'm going to repaint that before I fit it. And it is going to fit in there. Okay, I'm going to repaint that before I fit it. I think that'd be easiest. And then number 2, we're going to put the railing over. So I'm going to leave that off as well, because the railing, I don't know if you can see that down here, the railing is going to cover that recuperator, so I won't put that on yet. 07J is slow running cutout panel. So that one is here. So I'm going to glue that one on. In fact, it's I'm not going to bother repainting it because it's already the right colour. It has a sprue here, but it's on the bottom, so it doesn't really matter, and that's going to go into there. There were ejector pin marks all across here, so I sanded them out. Okay, so that's going in there. We can pick up on the details after it's fitted. So put some glue on the back. And I'm going to remove the glue from that edge there. Okay, so that's that bit done. And then the next part is 07H, which is the oxygen economizer, which is already painted and already done. So that's going to go in there like that. Is a tight fit. Get glue on my finger from the panel we just fitted. So that's gone in there. I don't think that needs any glue. That is absolutely solid in there. And then next thing it's telling us to do, I'll get this glue off my fingers, it says to fit this panel here, which is going to go into these 3 holes across the middle. Sorry, 4 holes. So that's fitted nicely. Okay, so that's cool. And then this operation here, as I said, we've already done. We've got the seat here with it already glued on, and you can see it there. So we're going to go over the page, and then this is going to fit onto here, onto these 2 holes. And again, that is a very tight fit. Probably because of all the paint I've put on there in addition to the paint they put on there. There we go, that's got on like that. And then next is this piece here, which is the this is the backrest. So this is going to fit into that little square slot there, and from memory I think this needs to be glued. Yeah, and what I'm going to do is just remove that sprue nib from the bottom of there. And then I'm going to put a spot of glue in that hole. And then put this in place. And then the bottom, as you can see, the bottom fits on top of that ducting. Okay, so we can come in from behind and just put a drop of glue on there. And that will form a little bridge between the two. Put a little drop in there as well. And that'll make sure that doesn't fall out in future. So what we'll do in a minute, we'll pick up on that silver bracket on there, and then we'll put some brown wash on there as well. That'll look good. We'll enhance that. The engineer's panel going in. We've got a lot of work to do on this because this is all wrong. It's not wrong, but these gauges should be blue and yellow, not blue and beige, and the whole gauge should be blue, not just the actual round part. So we're going to go through that. And then that is that step finished. So I'm going to get some detail painting done. I'm going to paint this silver, and I'm going to paint those knobs across the front of there silver. And we've got to fit this lamp as well before we lose it. So we've got this little lamp. It's going to go into that hole there, and it's a very loose fit. And I'm going to put it on an angle because it doesn't need to be facing down. It can face to the side. It can face anywhere you want. I'm just going to put a drop of glue on the back to hold it in place. It's just fallen straight back out again. Because the glue didn't actually capillary into the hole, it just sat on the edge. There we go. So there we are. We can put that down, leave that dry, and I'll be back in a minute after I've done some painting. Okay, so trying to paint this instrument panel, very difficult because we all know yellow is a very, very difficult colour to paint. You managed to get the blue okay, and I've done these dials in red. They're fuel cocks, but the top one, I don't know if you can see it there, it's a bit of a mess. So luckily I've got a spare one. So what I've done, I tried to mask so I can spray it. I've tried using liquid mask, I've tried cutting really thin slithers. So what I've done is sort of masked off the jam run area, and then what I've done is given it a very light coat, very thin coats of a white primer, the MRP white primer, because it pulls down very well so I don't get this build up. And then what we're going to do is mask off now with some tape. I've actually hurt my right arm. I don't know how I'm going to manage with doing any screwing on partworks. We shall see. But basically, I think I'll take that clip off of there. What I'm going to do now is mask off the blue part. Okay, as good as I can, because you can't really get the masking tape to go right down in. As long as I just dust it on, it doesn't matter if we get a little bit of overspray or whatever. Just going to have a look through my magnifier actually just to see how good that is. I'm going to push that tape. See, I do need to get my eyes tested, guys. I just want to make sure there's no blue exposed, because then when I spray a coat of blue on it, it'll look green in that area. Because we're going for very, very thin coats of paint here because I don't want to lose any detail. So these panels are always a bit of a pain to paint, but with perseverance it can be done. But I'll tell you now, if you're going to be brush painting, as you can see on there, it's not easy. So with that masked off like that roughly now, I've got some LP8 in the airbrush, the yellow paint. I can just come along and just lightly blow over that. As you can see, very, very lightly. And I think it's obvious why I painted it white first, because it would have taken forever to cover. There you go, you can see that slowly building up, and there we are, we've got our yellow gauges with the gauge frame and everything all yellow. Out of paint now. That's fine, that's going to look great against some black. And then what I'll do is I'll put a very thin black paint there, and it'll capillary around the gauges, and it'll look great when it's done. So I'll do the same thing now with the blue, and then probably come back when it's all done. And there we go, that's as far as we've got with that now. You can see it's getting a bit better than it did before. What I'll do when it's all done, I'll go over the black wash, and that'll sort of tidy everything up. You can see I've got glazing in there in the gauges. You can see they're shiny. So they're ready for decals now, so we'll use the airscale decals again. And also these square areas here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where placards go. So I've also got the airscale placards, so we'll put them on as well. I've got the hand pump thing painted. I sort of mixed a bit of gold with the silver and just brushed it on, and then put some black on there just to add a bit of interest. But you're not really going to see much of it anyway. But it's a bit, you know, it's nice to have something there. I've also painted in that silver bracket, as you can see on the top, and then gone in with some of the black brown oil wash, the same as I did with the seat belts, and just left that on there for 10 minutes and then wipe it off with a cotton bud. And then if you want to, this has been on here now for about half an hour, you can carry on wiping, you can keep removing it. But as you can see, that's the standard out of the box tan paint, but it just looks a lot better now. It gives it a bit of body, you know, it just gives it a bit of texture sort of thing. So so there we are. So I'm going to get those decals on, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks, and then we'll put a wash on it, and then that'll make it go pop. Okay, so finally we got there. Lots and lots of work gone on. So you can see there's that panel. I've got a couple of placards on there, as you can see. We've got the dials down the bottom, and all the painting is done. So once they're all dry, I'll give it some clear on the gauges, and then I'll give it a wash. Now the placards are from these are the airscale again, generic World War II Allied cockpit placards. You can see 1/24. So you know, it doesn't really matter if you're not after total accuracy. I mean, I believe these probably talk about undercarriage or something. I mean, that one at the top's got left and right on it, so don't know what they are. And then the gauges are my good old US Army Air Force ones. So I must get on the website and order some more. I must order some 1/32 scale placards and some 1/32 scale RAF. So I'll do that, and then Peter will get them in the post. But you can see, massive improvement over what we had before. Lots and lots of work, a couple of quid on some extras, and away you go. So I want to get this video done, so what I'm going to do is fit this panel to here. Okay, I'm going to put this flat down on the bench. I'm going to put a cotton bud on there. I'm going to push it in. What I'm worried about is those decals sticking to my finger. It doesn't want to go in, actually. It's very tight. So let's grab my tweezers and do some measuring, do some drilling. So come out, you swine. Get out. There we go. That's not going to go in there. So what we'll do is we'll measure the diameter of the pins. 1.6 and 2. That's great. We've got a 2mm drill. That's a 3mm burr. I've got a 2mm drill on here. So that's the bigger one. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. And then the 1.6 is the biggest drill in this box. So we'll get that one out of there. Haha, that's the tight one. And that one's okay. Okay, so now it should go in. It's going to go in, I can feel it. Right, so what I'm going to do is grab a drop of super glue on each of those pins, chuck that in place. Look how easy that was, just by drilling out a tiny little bit of plastic. And that's what I'm saying, guys, test fit, test fit, test fit. You can't go wrong. So there you can see we've got the starboard right hand side instrument panel built up, this has got to go in there, and that needs some glue on the back. In there. I'm just going to pull that out to manipulate the glue and then push it back in again. There we go. So that's glued in, and then we've got the the ladder, or the railing should I say, and that's going to go into there. I got this the wrong way up. Yes, I did have it the wrong way up. That's going into there, and that's going into there, like so. And they will also need some glue on the back. Just put a drop there. The glue has actually gone a little bit thick. I'm not sure it's going to capillary. There we go. So there you can see now, you can look at pack 7 instructions, and there we go. We have pack 7 done just as they requested. Happy with that. Overall, very pleased with all of it, and you can see now how this is all going to look when we look at that in there next to that. You can see it's all going to look very nice indeed. Right, so I think what we'll do, guys, we'll call that a day, because the next one's going to be part 8, and it's going to be pack 8. So I will see you all shortly for that one. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's been a little bit shorter than normal, but we haven't got so much done. Lots of fiddly stuff. I've spent hours on this, but you haven't. So another quick look at that. And as I say, what I'm going to do is, once those decals are dry, I'll go around and put some more gloss on them, and then I'll probably spray it over with a flat coat, and just to dull it down a bit perhaps. Okay, so I'll see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.